The story of Rahab, a biblical figure, offers a remarkable perspective on how divine purpose can manifest in lives that society frequently marginalizes. This account explores the journey of a woman who, due to her social standing, would be easily forgotten, but whose role became crucial to one of the most significant moments in the history of the people of Israel. She is an example that faith and courage can arise from the most improbable places, challenging prejudices and expectations. This theme is of extreme relevance for those seeking inspiration and purpose, especially women of faith who face challenges or feel invisible. Rahab's narrative demonstrates that a person's worth is not defined by their past or their profession, but by their ability to respond to a higher calling. Her story resonates with the truth that God sees beyond appearances, offering hope and a path to redemption for all who believe. In this video, we will address Rahab's surprising journey, found in the books of Joshua, Hebrews, and Matthew, from her life in Jericho to her integration into the Messianic lineage. We will analyze the circumstances that led her to make daring decisions, her demonstration of faith, and the profound implications of her actions. To fully grasp the magnitude of Rahab's biblical story and how even as prostitute she was chosen to fulfill a divine purpose, it is essential to first establish the historical and geographical setting in which her life unfolded. The city of Jericho and the context of the Israelites' arrival are key pieces to unveiling the depth of her narrative and the impact of her decisions. The city of Jericho, one of the oldest and most fortified human settlements, was a crucial strategic point on the Israelites' path to the Promised Land. Its imposing walls and geographical location made it a seemingly insurmountable fortress. During this period, the Israelites, led by Joshua, were on the verge of their first major conquest after 40 years in the desert, and Jericho represented a formidable challenge, a symbol of Canaanite resistance. The inhabitants of Jericho in turn lived under constant fear of the approaching people of Israel. News of the wonders that the God of the Hebrews had performed in Egypt and at the Red Sea, as well as victories over other kingdoms, had already reached their ears. This atmosphere of apprehension and despair permeated the city, creating an environment of uncertainty and widespread fear among the population, including Rahab. Different perspectives can be observed in this imminent conflict. For the Israelites, the conquest of Jericho was a divine command and an essential step to possessing the Promised Land, an act of faith and obedience. For the Canaanites, it represented a struggle for survival against a powerful and mysterious enemy. Rahab, as an inhabitant of Jericho, was embedded in this complex and dangerous reality where options seemed limited. It was in this context of fear and the imminence of a historical confrontation that Joshua sent 2 spies to scout the land and, in particular, Jericho. The arrival of these men in the city would trigger a series of events that would place Rahab at the center of a divine narrative. Her unexpected intervention, then, was not an isolated act, but a fundamental piece in God's great plan for his people, as we will see next. Rahab's main action, which distinguishes her in the biblical narrative, was the courageous decision to hide the 2 Israelite spies sent by Joshua. When the authorities of Jericho learned of the spies' presence and went to Rahab's house to search for them, she protected them, hiding them under stalks of flax on her roof. Her motivation, as she herself declared, was faith in the God of Israel, of whom she had heard and whose deeds terrified her people. To illustrate with concrete and testable examples, Rahab not only hid the spies but also deceived their pursuers. She told them that the men had left before nightfall, suggesting they follow quickly to catch them. This audacious maneuver diverted the authorities' attention, allowing the spies to remain safe until they could escape. Her intelligence and quick thinking were crucial to the mission's success. Realistic variations or adaptations of Rahab's story show that, in moments of crisis, faith can manifest in unexpected ways and demand unconventional actions. While other women in Jericho might have denounced the spies out of fear or loyalty to their city, Rahab chose a different path, moved by an inner conviction. Her decision was not an impulsive act, but a conscious choice to align herself with the God she believed to be the true Lord. It's important to address the limitations and when Rahab's method does not apply as a direct example for all situations. The Bible is not glorifying lying or betrayal. On the contrary, the narrative highlights Rahab's faith in a context of war and survival, where her action was seen as an act of loyalty to a higher power and a choice for life. It is not a universal endorsement of dishonesty, but rather a recognition of her faith in extreme circumstances. If this story of faith and courage has already deeply moved you, consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel for more inspiring content like this. Your participation helps us reach more women who seek purpose and strength in their journeys. Rahab's story, with its complexity and depth, continues to resonate, showing us that divine purpose can manifest in surprising ways. Her choice had profound consequences for the people of Israel and for her own life, as we will see in the next part. After demonstrating her faith and courage, Rahab established a covenant with the Israelite spies. They promised to spare her life and that of her family when the city was destroyed, on the condition that she tie a scarlet cord in her window, a visible sign to identify them amidst the devastation. This cord became a symbol of her salvation and of God's faithfulness to those who trust in Him, regardless of their past. The fall of Jericho is one of the most dramatic events in the Old Testament. The walls, considered impenetrable, collapsed after 7 days of marching and the sound of trumpets, according to divine strategy. Amidst the chaos and destruction, the spies rescued Rahab and her family, fulfilling the promise made. Her house, miraculously, remained intact on the wall, a visible testimony to divine protection and care. After being rescued, Rahab and her family were integrated into the community of Israel. This act of inclusion is remarkable, as a woman of her profession and Canaanite origin would not, under normal circumstances, have a guaranteed place among the chosen people. Her story exemplifies divine grace, which transcends social barriers and human prejudices, offering a new beginning and a new identity to those who choose faith. The significance of Rahab's legacy goes far beyond her individual salvation. She married Salmon, a prince of Judah, and became the mother of Boaz, King David's great-grandfather. Most notably, Rahab is one of 4 women mentioned in the genealogy of Jesus Christ in the Gospel of Matthew. Her inclusion in the messianic lineage underscores the message that God uses people from all backgrounds to fulfill His eternal purposes. Her story radically challenges the initial perception of the shocking story of how a prostitute was chosen to fulfill a divine purpose, transforming a marginalized figure into a heroine of faith. This profound transformation and inclusion in such a sacred lineage invite us to reflect on the nature of grace and divine sovereignty, preparing us to explore the theological implications and lessons we can draw from her life. Rahab's story offers profound theological implications, highlighting God's sovereignty and His grace that reaches the improbable. It demonstrates that the divine plan is not limited to perfect or high-status individuals, but extends to all who respond with faith, regardless of their past or social condition. Rahab's choice for such a grand purpose is a testament to God's ability to see the heart and transcend appearances. Rahab's account directly challenges the social judgments and prejudices we often impose on one another. Her inclusion in the lineage of David and Jesus is a powerful reminder of the inclusive nature of God's love, which does not stop at human labels or condemnations. For women who feel judged or inadequate, Rahab's story serves as a beacon of hope and divine acceptance. Rahab's faith is presented as a model, according to Hebrews 11:31, where she is cited among the heroes of faith. She acted based on her belief in the God of Israel, even in the face of fear and the imminent destruction of her city. Her attitude demonstrates that true faith often requires bold actions and unwavering trust, even when circumstances seem unfavorable or dangerous. Understanding these reflections and nuances prepares us to apply the lessons from Rahab's life to our own path of faith and purpose. Her journey teaches us about the importance of courage, trust in God, and acceptance of His calling, regardless of who we are or where we come from. Next, we will explore how we can incorporate these principles into our daily lives, seeking a divine purpose, to implement the lessons from Rahab's story in our lives. The first step is to recognize that divine purpose is not limited to a specific profile. Just like Rahab, we are called to trust in God's sovereignty and to be open to opportunities, even if they seem challenging or outside our comfort zone. Actively seeking God, even amidst our imperfections, is the path to discovering and fulfilling our calling. To deepen your study, we recommend reading Joshua chapter 2, which details the story of Rahab and the spies. Additionally, Hebrews 11:31 includes her in the gallery of faith, and Matthew 1-5 mentions her in the genealogy of Jesus. These biblical resources offer a solid foundation for a deeper and more personal understanding of the unwavering faith she demonstrated, encouraging your own journey of discovery. It's important to be realistic about expected results and timelines. Rahab's faith did not eliminate the dangers of her situation, but guided her to salvation and a new beginning. Similarly, finding and living your divine purpose does not mean an absence of struggles, but rather the certainty that God is with us every step of the way. Results may not be immediate, but faithfulness to God will always bear fruit in the long term. Leave your comment below and share how Rahab's story inspires you to believe in a greater purpose, no matter your origin or past. Your perspective is valuable and can inspire other women of faith to embrace their own journeys with courage and confidence. Authentic engagement strengthens our community and connects us through stories of overcoming and transformation. Rahab's story is a powerful testament to God's grace and transformative power. It teaches us that the past does not define the future when we surrender our lives to Him. May her journey inspire every woman to embrace her worth, to trust in her divine purpose, and to live a life of unwavering faith, regardless of the circumstances.